public. The word church comes from the Old English and German word kirk. When it was feminized, the hard K's became soft C's, so now the word is Circe, also known as Mother Circe. Circe was a sorceress who would lure men into her home and turn them into swine, then feed off them. This is where the word church comes from. The Mother Church, or Mother Circe. So it's no surprise to find this type of stone and woodwork in cathedrals today. Some say these were used by the Catholic Nazis to mock the Jews, but more than that, it represents us all. The same disdain for human life that was held for the Jews of Germany will be held against you when the New World Order comes. The image of death and Saturn are important to all the most ruthless orders of the occult, including the Nazis. The skull and bones can be seen everywhere in our culture right now. Just look around. The alchemist and occultist Fulcanelli said in the early 1900s, "The age of iron has no other seal than that of death. Its hieroglyph is the skeleton bearing the attributes of Saturn, the empty hourglass of time run out." Because Saturn is so important to our age and to the occultist religion, let's take a closer look at it. We will see Saturn symbolism in many religions throughout time. You would be surprised to find it in the most visible but unlikely places. Saturn is going to take us back to the beginning of history. GM Motor Company started a division of cars called Saturn in 1990. In this logo, we see two distinct visual choices, the first being the open A, and the second being the U and R, joined together. No big deal, right? But it does get strange. The A represents the compass of Freemasonry. It is a signal to those in the know. You can see it with other company logos like Kia, Samsung. The Acura logo is the compass itself. Does NASA really mean what you think? Is there a connection to Saturn and Freemasonry? This is one of the Masonic aprons with the skull and bones in the color black of Saturn. The skull and bones is an important Masonic symbol. The reason I am showing you this symbolism is because the initiations into these fraternal orders involves a death and rebirth. You are born again into the order. You are now illuminated. George W. Bush, belonging to the Skull and Bones of Yale University, when he states that he was born again, what did he truly mean? Any oath they take in these societies supersedes any other oath. The skull and bones were also used by the Nazis. That is why it didn't surprise me to find in Germany there is a company called Saturn Electronics with the same open A as the American car company. Only this company is part of Metro Group, a company that was founded by Otto Beisheim. Otto was an SS officer. Supposedly he was able to start the business with illegal funds from World War II. Why the conjoined U and R in the Saturn logo? Ur was an ancient city-state of the Babylonian Empire. Today it is in Iraq. It was the site of the earliest civilization of the area, where they already had horrible bureaucracies at work. They had good divorce laws, such as, if a man divorces his first-time wife, he shall pay her 1 mina of silver, and don't worry if another man pokes your eye out, 'cause you're owed a 1/2 mina of silver. The father of these bureaucracies was Saturn. The Hebrews called him El. They dressed in the black priesthood robes of El, just like rabbis, priests, and judges today. All these names carry the role of a father or patriarch of their respective system. El means literally to go up or to ascend. It is where we get the words elevated, the high society known as elites, the wise ones known as elders. And when you graduate, you wear the black robes of Saturn. Hubie Nibley, a respected professor of ancient languages, said at a 1960 BYU commencement speech, "We have met here today clothed in the black robes of a false priesthood." He came across the dirty little secret in his research of the early priesthoods. Nibley also stated, Both the black and white robes proclaim a primary concern for things of the mind and the spirit, sobriety of life, and concentration of purpose removed from the largely mindless, mechanical routines of your everyday world. Cap and gown announce that the wearer had accepted certain rules of living and been tested in special kinds of knowledge. What is wrong, then, with the flowing robes? For one thing, they are somewhat theatrical and too easily incline the wearer, beguiled by their splendor, to masquerade and affectation. In the time of Socrates, the sophists were making a big thing of their special manner of dress and delivery. It was all for show, of course, but it was dressing for success, with a vengeance. For the whole purpose of the rhetorical brand of education which they inaugurated and sold at top prices to the ambitious youth was to make the student successful as a paid advocate in the law courts, a commanding figure in the public assemblies, or a successful promoter of daring business enterprises by mastering those then irresistible techniques of persuasion and salesmanship which the sophist had to offer. So they are training you to work in their system, teaching you the laws of the Father God. On the other side, you have the mercy of the Mother God. Of course, she was very popular in all ages. There is a large ziggurat at the ancient site of dedicated to the female moon god Sin. She was known as the Illuminator because she shined through the darkness. So when you graduate, you become illuminated. You are now part of the alumni, and the school you went to is your alma mater, or the bountiful mother. Abraham from the Bible was born in the city of Abraham was known as father of the multitude, and he is a key part of the Jewish, Catholic, Islam, Mormon, and Christian religions. Abraham's name is also literally interpreted as High Father. In Hebrew it is El Elyon, also meaning Most High. And both Abraham and Saturn are sons of Terra. In the legend, Saturn was born from Terra, or the earth. Abraham is said to have gone to the site of Mecca and built the Kaaba stone. Today it's a giant brick square that has a black sheet draped over it. In Islam, it is customary to trek once to twice a year to the site and walk around the stone 7 times. They do not know that they are performing theater, and that they represent the rings of Saturn. You can research many of the names of the Father God: El, Baal, Hadad, Kronos, Osiris, Tammuz, Attis, Adonis, Adad, Teshub, Set, Zeus, Jupiter, Enki, Dionysus, Yahweh, Moloch, Neruta, just to name a few. Most were associated with a sky father god figure like Zeus. Marukan is the most ancient god of India. He was god of space and time and chaos. He was known as the way to wisdom, and his star was the hexagram. This black stone dates back 2,000 to 3,000 years, and it is still used for ceremony by the worshippers of Marukan today. Marukan was associated in legend with the 6 stars of the Pleiades that raised him. In this picture we see the Om symbol with the 6 stars depicted on it, and Marukan is standing on the hexagram, the 6-pointed star. This idea traveled a great distance in time till it arrived at Rome. While there may be 7 hills of Rome, only 6 were the seat of government, and at the base of Capitoline Hill the temple to Saturn was erected. 1,000 years after the first civilizations, Saturn came to Italy, and it was named Saturnia during the Golden Age. It is stated that he brought agriculture, art of navigation, and the use of money. The Etruscans, or builders of society, brought their Babylonian Canaanite system to Rome. New boss, same as the old boss. And today the boss is the Pope. Here he is wearing his Saturno hat representing the planet Saturn. The Feast of Saturn was the most popular holiday in Rome, and it took place from December 17th to December 25th. The binding representing Saturn's rings were taken off the feet of the statue, and every one was set free in spirit. The slaves were freed, there was no war.